Next up, the Murrays have asked us to look into their possible connection to Bridget Donnelly and the massacre of her family in Canada.
But there was always just a little piece, of doubt.
It's a mystery the family are desperate to solve.
Well, this next story is pretty gruesome, I have to say. Catherine, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
The massacre of the Black Donnellys?
Yes, that's right.
John.
Okay. Well, first of all, let's talk about the story in a bit of detail. On the night of the 4th of February 1880, 5 members of the Donnelly family were killed. The patriarch was a man called James Donnelly, who had emigrated from Ireland in the 1840s. He was no angel. He had already been in jail for killing a neighbour. The family were well known in the area for getting their way one way or the other, put it like that. They had rows about stagecoach rights, they had rows about land, and eventually the community decided that it was necessary to put an end to this. This was neighbourhood watch gone bad. A mob assembled, marched to the Donnellys' house, burnt the house down, and killed 5 people in it. James and his wife, 2 of his sons, and Bridget. So if we look here, we can see this is Bridget's death record. Died February the 4th, 1880, female, supposed to be murdered. The cause of death.
Goodness.
Okay, so they're hedging their bets.
No state pathologist in those days, I imagine.
One of the reasons is that this was very controversial at the time. Officially, nobody knows who did it. Let's see then your family tree and see how we can connect this. Here you are down here, Catherine, Father Bernard, your grandfather Gerald, your great-grandmother Mary, who was a daughter of Michael Donnelly, your great-great-grandfather. This Michael Donnelly, we have discovered in his marriage record that he was the son of Robert Donnelly. His mother was Mary Carroll. In the baptismal records, there is also a Bridget. This is Michael. This is your great-great-grandfather. And the real clincher is a letter that he wrote to his nephew in Canada in 1880. Dear William, would you be kind enough to let me know if it is true that your father and mother and 2 brothers and my poor sister Bridget were murdered? That's not a letter you get every day, I can tell you. But I think it clinches it. This is absolutely certain in my mind that this Bridget was related to you.
An absolute definite connection.
Clincher, no doubt.
Well, Catherine, we can go now to the town of Biddulph, which is where there is a museum dedicated to the massacre of the Black Donnellys, and Tom McLaughlin runs the museum. So hello Tom, how are you?
Great, thanks.
I have Catherine Murray here, and you know Catherine's story. She believes she's connected to one of the Donnellys that was murdered in the massacre of the Black Donnellys.
That was a terrible black mark on the community. The community really didn't want to talk about it. Didn't for 100 years. The intriguing part was no one ever got convicted for the murders. I must confess that my great-grandfather's brother actually was one of the 6 that was charged with the murders and spent a year in jail.
So your family were directly involved in the massacres of Catherine's...
I'm hoping not. I'm hoping not. They were charged with the murder. I'm hoping not. Having said that, this feud went on for many, many years. And
yes, I believe.
there wasn't a lot of law and order in Canada or in North America in the 1880s.
Yeah, and I don't think they were entirely blameless themselves either by the sounds of it.
No, that would be my take. And don't forget, most of these people come over couldn't read or write. Like my own ancestors signed their deed of the property with an X. And when conflict occurred, you know, actually the dialogue was pretty short. It became physical real quick, right?
Yeah.
All right, Tom, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Anyway, good to see you.
Thank you.
It's a strange thing to actually listen, you know, to somebody 100 or 120 years on say that, well, perhaps my family were involved in murder and your side of the family. So it's strange. We feel guilty.